Hey guys, Blue Kool-Aid here. Hey, hope you guys like my intro. Hey, I'm going to give you a quick one here, guys. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time today doing a video. I've had some issues going on in my personal life and stuff. I'm not going to stop making videos or anything, but I just want to, kind of jump into it. But anyway, we're going to talk about magnetic north again because I think it's the subject that needs to be talked about the most right now, because things are actually happening with it. But, I get questions every day, when's this going to happen? When's this doing this? When's it going to do that? Well, I've kind of explained that, okay? And what I would say is that magnetic north was migrating about 9 miles a year. And it has sped up to 34 miles a year. Now, I think it computes, 500 feet a day? Something like that. Okay, if you guys can imagine that in your head. So that would put it flipping, if it stayed that speed, before 10 years gets here. It would be 7 years or maybe even 5. Something like that. It's in between there. But as it does start moving and getting closer to the 40-degree latitude mark, it will probably speed up some more, guys. Okay? I can't say for sure, but that's just my gut feeling. That's what will happen. So, my opinion, 5 years or less, we're going to see a pole reversal. I don't see, when the government comes out like they did the NOAA, and I'll show you that real quick. Well, yeah, I'll just show this to you real quick. This is the official map, okay? What you're seeing here, guys, is this is magnetic north looking down on the North Pole. All right. Obviously, this over here is more intense. Okay, that's the Siberian one we've been talking about. How magnetic north may have split into two. That kind of whole conversation. Even if it hasn't, it still is showing. You see this asterisk right here in the middle here? That's where they say our compasses are pointing right now. So they did that for one reason. That is for navigation purposes. They didn't go into any other discussion about pole reversals or anything like that. But what you guys have to understand is this right here, this map right here, pretty much shows what's going on. They're just not saying it. And we'll go. There's some stuff that I've been researching. We'll go into this a little bit deeper as we get going here, but not in this video. Be in a future video. But anyway, what I really wanted to show you here, guys, I'm getting a lot of questions. What exactly is magnetic north and south? And, because people talk about, North Pole, South Pole. Well, you think about Santa Claus, right? I mean, in a barber pole sticking in the ground. Well, actually, there is a physical North Pole and a physical South Pole. Okay? This is what this map is showing. Now, I'm gonna tell you the difference. Okay? This right here is north. That's the North Pole. This right here is the South Pole. Geographic North Pole and geographic South Pole. Okay, that means that's a physical thing in the ground. Right there. We can go up, we can stand on it, right? Now, what is this? Okay, well, what this is this is kind of, science that we kind of probably learned in school. And I've known this. I mean, most of us do, but there's some that don't. And don't feel bad if you didn't. Because this isn't something that most people either try to retain or, unless you're into this kind of thing. And most guys, I would tend to say, probably remember this more than the girls because it's just a subject that most guys tend to gravitate towards. But anyway, you take North and South Pole geographic, you draw a straight line. Well, that's the line that the Earth spins on. Okay, it's like if you drove a rod straight through the Earth, grabbed both ends of it and spun it, that's how the Earth rotates. Okay? And you can even see on this map that magnetic north is over here, magnetic south is down here, right? Draw a line between there and it's tilted, right? That's actually how it is, guys. Okay? That's just our magnetics. Not a physical, or geographically physical spot on the Earth. Okay, so anyway, that's the difference there, guys. So when we're talking about a pole flip, we're not talking about geographic north and south, or flipping like this, right? These two things, if these two things were to flip, the Earth would just turn upside down. Okay, that ain't what happens. Now, when north and south magnetics flip like that, okay, can that make the Earth maybe jolt or move? I would say that it probably could. I don't think it's going to flip us all the way over or nothing, but it could cause us to tilt some, I would think. Matter of fact, I think some of the Earth wobble that we do see is kind of caused by this. Okay, now keep in mind that our core is what makes our magnetic field. Okay, that's what keeps us strong. It's what protects us against cosmic rays. Which, you know, that all that cosmic ray stuff, you know, A, B, and C UV rays, you know, that we're talking about how UVC is now being recorded on the surface, which is at a molecular level. When it hits your skin or hits your body, it's at a molecular level, which means it doesn't just hit the surface of anything or give you a sunburn. Okay, it may still give you a sunburn, but it's going straight into the molecular structure of your body. You know, let that sink in for a minute. You want some mutations and getting sick real quick, you go stand in some UVC for a while and we'll see what happens. You know, you're going to start growing a third leg and some horns or something, I guess. I don't know. But, or get really, really sick. So, that's why that's important, okay? Our magnetic field has to be strong. So, when it is getting weaker, what do we have to look at? Well, we have to look at our planet's core. And there has been some studies done and things. And they think that a lot of times that a lot of people are saying that the speed of the upper level of our molten core is slowing down. Okay? I've talked about the South Atlantic anomaly before. That's where they say that the magnetics is actually reversed in the ground already. Okay? Compasses go all crazy when people fly over that or go over that in a boat or whatever. Okay? You know, some people think that the Bermuda Triangle is kind of like that. I've talked about this a little bit before, but anyway, I just wanted to clarify that, what geographic north versus magnetic north was. I hadn't really covered that before. Other channels have, but I hadn't, so I figured I'd do that just to try to help people understand a little bit more. But I showed you that too. Okay, so, you know, I watched Laura Wells' research channel. I come across her channel, I don't know, a little over a month ago, I think. And it's just one good video after another, guys. So go over and check that channel out, please. I mean, she deserves to have more than the 6,000 subs that she's got. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's channels out there that should just be way, way more than what they have. Just because the information is so, you know, on point and always there and very credible. So, anyway, this is what I got this off of her last video. Again, they were talking about the pole flip, okay, the pole reversal. You know, and SHTF. You know, when's that going to happen? Right? What do we do? How do we know that that's happening? Well, Mark Elkin, I think, is where she got this list from. And that's another channel that I'll leave a link to that you guys should go check out. He's done research, I think, now for over 14 years on this whole subject. And he goes into the prepping thing, where he thinks things will be safe. Those kinds of things. But anyway, what this is a list of things to look at right before. If you see these things happening, you need to, basically, he's saying go bug out. He's saying, you know, you got about 2 weeks before stuff gets real bad. Okay? That's what, you know, and like I said, I'm not fear-mongering or anything like that, and I don't want you guys to have any fear. Okay? All we can do is prepare, and I'm only bringing this to you so you can kind of, you know, have another point of view, have somebody that's way smarter than me kind of show you what's going on here. And, you know, I could never say when this stuff was going to happen. But this guy has done 14 years of research, and, you know, this is what he's come up with. So I think it's worth looking at. Okay. But anyway, it says 6+ earthquakes in the Atlantic Ridge. And when it says 6+, he's talking about the strength of the earthquake. The Atlantic Ridge, I believe, not exactly sure where that actually, the ridge itself actually is. I'm sure it's around, you know, one of the continents, close to the continent. It's probably not out in the middle of the ocean anywhere, but if you see a bunch of earthquakes in the Atlantic Ridge, you know, that's one sign that SHTF's getting ready to happen. If Japan splits and one part goes under, okay, that would be completely catastrophic, guys. I mean, that'd be so horrible if that actually happened. But if we see that happen, we got to know that stuff's coming, okay? That's a pretty good indicator when half a country just sinks into the ocean, right? Anyway, if Australia's west coast subsides, I'm not sure how the word subsides being used here. If that means that it's, I don't think it means it'll be underwater. It could be, I guess, or maybe the coastline gets bigger. I'd have to go look up that word. Sorry for my ignorance on that, on the subsides word. I know it sounds pretty trivial there, but I should know that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, if nuclear war breaks out, obviously, I mean, that's pretty obvious. If that happens, then yeah, I mean, SHTF's already happening, guys. I mean, maybe not global, natural SHTF, but yeah, nuclear war is happening, and, you know, we got to do our thing, right? If the internet shuts down, okay, we talk about millennials, right? I mean, millennials are millennials. They don't know life without the internet. So we're talking about people 20 years or younger. Basically, that's just a rough number. I'm 43. I'll be 44 here this coming month. Yeah. So you can kind of, I'm not sure what the actual population of the globe of people 20 years or younger is, but you can bet that those people are going to freak out. Okay, that's why that's a big deal. Okay, it says if the power in general shuts down, obviously that's going to affect every one of us. All right, and again, the younger you are, the harder it's going to be for you, because you do not know life without electricity. Heck, like I said, I'm 40. I'll be 44. I don't know life without electricity. I mean, things were different when I was younger. You know, we didn't depend on electricity like we do now, but I've always had it. You know, short of getting our power knocked out from a storm or something. But we're talking like, you know, power going down for 6 months probably. You know, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. So you can imagine. And then it says if the sun rises in the west, okay, you know, what can happen? How does that happen? Okay, well, either we've flipped, or the earth starts rotating the other direction. Now we have to keep in mind that in order for the earth to actually spin in the other direction, it would have to stop and go the other way. Okay, I'm not sure exactly the speed we rotate at. You know, if that actually, again, I mean, I don't even want to go scientific on this one, because I just simply don't know. It would have to slow down and then start rotating the other direction in such a slow way, because you can imagine, you know, if you spin something real fast and you just grab it and stop it, anything that's on there is going to still be moving at that speed. Okay, it just get ripped apart is basically what I'm saying. So, you know, if it has to gradually slow down, well, we're going to see that anyway. Okay, if that happens, because that means our days will get longer. all that kind of thing. But, you know, if you see, it says, I really don't know what to think about that one. I mean, if the sun rises in the west, maybe that's just a biblical reference because it does talk about that. Okay. You know, I think the Hopi prophecies even talk about, you know, the sun rising in the west. There's been a lot of different, I guess, ancient texts and stuff talk about that. Pictures, hieroglyphs, all that kind of thing. And it says, if aliens are announced to have been found publicly. Okay. I think the way why that's worded like that is because whether or not you believe in aliens or not, and whether or not they actually exist, doesn't matter in what this statement is saying. Because basically, if they say that there's aliens out there and they've been found, they're getting ready to use that either as a real reason or as a reason just to say something to distract from what's going on. That's why that's worded like it is. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean that Mark Elkin believes in aliens. That's not what that means. It just means that they're coming out and saying, hey, there's aliens. You know? So, anyway, I just thought that was a good list. You know, please go over and watch that whole video. I'll leave a link. There's so much more information. I didn't want to just put a bunch of her information out here because I want you guys to go watch it on her channel because, you know, she did the work, so she needs to, you know, get the credit for it and get the traffic over there. But, anyway, you know, like I said, Mark Elkin, he did his thing. You know, I think that's pretty much where she got most of this information from. And she goes into about, you know, what to do, what can we do. They talk about elevation as far as, you know, if there's big tidal waves that come in, how far up do we need to be, you know, above sea level? What kind of structures we need to be in, what kind of time frame, what kind of bug out bag should we have? I mean, she goes into a lot of good stuff there, okay, guys? There's a whole lot of questions that are answered if you guys go over and watch that video, okay? There's so many things. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if she's in a group or something where they've, you know, tried to set up a community prior to these bad events going to happen. So basically, that would be their bug out location, and they all go there, and then they can kind of start their own community. You know, even with, you know, down to seeds to grow, you know, vegetation again and be able to survive. But anyway, guys, go over and check that out. I'm going to show you a picture here too. Relentless Maverick, okay? He's seeing stuff with his naked eye now, guys. And that's what this is. This picture right here. I want you guys to go check his video out, okay? Normally we can't see these things because this happened backwards is basically what I'm saying. Normally we take pictures, right, of the sky, and we'll go home and we'll edit them. Then we'll see stuff in the pictures, right? Because the camera can see outside of our visual spectrum a certain level. So we'll see stuff that we can't see with our naked eye. Plus we can put filters and all those kinds of things to kind of draw stuff out. Well, this was backwards. Okay? He's seen this with his naked eye first. Alright, and he actually takes his finger and shows you exactly where this is at while taking the video. So I just wanted to show you this still shot. I hope he's okay with that. And put you guys over to, you know, his video, because you guys should really go watch it. He shows some stuff here, guys. I'll zoom in a little bit. Basically what he's showing, and you can see it right here. Oops. If you look right here, okay, it's a rough thing, but also the straight line off of it. Okay, and as I zoom out, look at that. Okay, you can kind of see. I mean, even from afar here, it's kind of like that. Almost looks like an upside down ice cream cone. Okay, he's got a lot more to show too. Okay, you guys really need to go check that out because he's seen this with his naked eye. And that's what we've been talking about. When we start seeing it with our naked eye, Okay, one of two things is happening, and probably both. The systems that they're using to try to hide this are starting to fail, and this stuff is getting closer, and actually could be at some level in our atmosphere. Okay, where it's affecting our clouds. I mean, you'll probably start seeing, when this stuff gets really, really close and doing its thing, you'll start seeing, plasma bolts or whatever you want to call them. Okay, I mean, you will. It'll look like lightning, but it'll be way more intense. So, anyway, I wanted to bring that to you. I think you go over and check him out, Relentless Maverick. Check out his channel over there. He does some pretty good work over there. I mean, he really does. He tries to show the sky. Plus, he talks a little bit about, a lot about actually about how to heal, how to make sure that you're good internally. Just overall mental health. Those kinds of things. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check out his channel too. He's got a series, I believe, and it's called, I have not went through it, but I think it's called Getting Past Broken is what he calls it. So you guys can kind of understand just by that title what it's about. So, I've been watching, and I know Relentless Maverick. We've talked a few times, and he's a good dude. He's got some good information, and he's got some good ideas. And he definitely knows how to make sure that he's mentally okay. I'm sure he's been through some pretty hard stuff in his own personal life, and he's come to these conclusions. So, if we can learn from other people, we'll be better off. But anyway, guys, go check him out. Again, that's a naked eye picture right there. But I'm going to say this, and I'll say this 1,000 more times, guys. No fear, no fear, no fear. Okay? Just be aware and prepare. No fear. All right? Know where your salvation is and go to it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.